Let's jump right into this explainer, because today we are unpacking a matchup that, honestly, totally defies all logical expectations. We're diving into the absolute David versus Goliath clash between Scotland and Brazil. And listen, this isn't just your standard sporting event. It's practically the ultimate heist of hope. So, let's get into it, because this breakdown is truly fascinating.
I want to kick things off with this incredible quote from the source material. "This is not just a game. It is a cultural event with shin pads." That just hits the nail on the head, right? It perfectly captures the true stakes here. This isn't just about 22 guys running around a pitch. It's a full-on psychological stress test for an entire nation. It's literally a collision between Sambo football and, well, Calvinist weather.
All right, moving into Section 1, the ultimate football mismatch. Let's establish exactly why no sensible person expects Scotland to dominate the ball here.
What we're really looking at is a massive cultural and tactical collision. On one hand, you've got Brazil. They represent absolute abundance, flair, and individual brilliance. For them, football is pure self-expression. Then on the other side, you've got Scotland. Resistance, rigorous structure, and collective identity. To them, football is almost like this grinding public service. Challenging Brazil to an open, beautiful game, yeah, that's essentially like challenging Michelangelo to a ceiling painting contest when all you've got is a roller brush and a terrible hangover. It's just not a game Scotland can win on aesthetics.
So what's the crucial takeaway here? Make Brazil play Scotland's game. Scotland's route to victory is not going to be pretty. Honestly, it has to be narrow and it has to be ugly. They've got to completely frustrate the Brazilians, compress the space, and basically turn every single flowing attack into a slow, awkward, emotionally constipated committee meeting. Basically, if the game looks good, Scotland is definitely losing.
Which brings us to Part 2, Scotland's tactical blueprint. Let's break down the gritty master plan needed to pull this off.
To actually survive this, the blueprint has a few essential rules. Rule number 1, be horrible to play against. Scotland has to abandon all charm. Charm is for dinner parties, guys, not World Cups. Next, carry that underdog power. They need to weaponize that unique tension and fear of tournament football. And finally, shift the pressure right back onto Brazil. Brazil carries this huge, heavy, glowing burden. They don't just need to win, they have to win beautifully. Scotland, well, they become absolute heroes just by grabbing a draw.
But, there's always a catch. The text has this great line: "Why are we defending a corner like a group of men trying to assemble flat-pack furniture in a gale?" You kind of have to laugh, because that perfectly sums up the baffling Scotland experience. One minute they're showing magnificent, structured competence, and the next, absolute alarming catastrophe. If they want to pull off this heist, they really need to lock down that flat-pack furniture.
So tactically, how do they actually do that? Well, they have to start with deep discipline, not just pure adrenaline. They actually need to avoid too much early passion. You really can't play the first 10 minutes like it's Braveheart, with passing lanes. It just doesn't work. They have to maintain absolute compactness to crowd Brazil out and completely deny those flair players any oxygen whatsoever. To survive, Scotland needs to be a locked filing cabinet. Use controlled aggression, frustrate the genius on the other side, and make the game wonderfully, incredibly ugly.
All right, Part 3, the first goal factor. Let's examine the variables, because everything hinges on who changes the emotional temperature first.
Because look, if Brazil strikes early, it is a terrifying scenario for Scotland. Suddenly, Brazil dictates the tempo. Scotland is forced to step out of that locked filing cabinet and actually chase the game. And when that happens, spaces start to open up, the match stretches out, and the pitch literally turns into a dance floor for Brazil. And we all know that Brazilian attackers, when given space, will do things that make elite defenders seriously question their career choices.
But what happens if the script flips? What if the massive underdog lands that first heavy blow?
Oh, then we get fabulous chaos. In this absolute dream scenario, the 5-time world champions are the ones forced to chase the game. Suddenly, Scotland can sit even deeper. Every single Scottish clearance feels heroic, every tackle sounds like national poetry, and, somewhere in Dundee, a guy starts shouting at his TV with the sheer force of a medieval prophet. The entire psychological weight of the match completely shifts.
Which leads us directly into Part 4, defeating the Brazilian ghosts. Before any of those physical tactics even matter, there's a huge mental war happening before the whistle even blows. In this battle, Brazil has to actively avoid arrogance, while Scotland must completely avoid awe.
They have to actively ignore the mythology of that famous yellow shirt. Yes, it glows. It acts like this divine permission slip carrying the historical ghosts of Pelé, Ronaldo, and Romario. But Scotland has to remember they are playing against 11 mortal men, not a museum. You respect the immense talent for sure, but you absolutely do not worship the mythology.
Finally, Part 5, the verdict. Let's look at how this clash of hope and doom might actually play out.
Honestly, the most likely outcome here is a 1-1 draw. It's shaping up to be this tense, exhausting, heroic clash where Brazil brings the class, Scotland brings the pure stubbornness, and every single Scottish fan probably ages about 6 years in just 12 minutes of stoppage time. But could Scotland actually nick it 1-0? I mean, is an outright win truly possible? Is it sensible to predict that? No, absolutely not. But hey, we watch football precisely because it isn't sensible. If we wanted sensible, we'd all just sit around reading spreadsheets while gently weeping.
A Scottish victory would literally mean they forced the universe into extra marking duties. It would require immense patience, a goalkeeper with supernatural wrists, and maybe, just maybe, a deeply confused Brazilian defender at a corner kick. It just proves that World Cups are built entirely on unlikely things. If it happens, it won't be because the universe suddenly became fair. It'll happen because Scotland simply refused to yield.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. In a game completely governed by elite talent, can a nation's collective stubbornness actually rewrite the script of glorious failure? Ask yourself, is the romantic absurdity of football enough to edit decades of inherited pessimism? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep questioning the sensible.